Okay, so if you voted in this past election, and especially for Donald Trump, you should be very pissed off right now because of this situation. Let me explain.
I would argue it's a very similar scenario. It's all about money. It's all about who has the money and controlling the money. Is America as a country prepared to upset all of its richest people? I don't know. Is it? Is it prepared to upset all of its richest people to appease bloodthirsty brokies who don't even care about justice? They just want the drama.
Yep.
Another question, because I would argue that the murders that happen every day on the street are very interesting, but no one cares about that. MS-13 and all this shit, no one really cares about that. But this Epstein list they really care about. They want justice, sure, but it's a drama. It's interesting. They want to find out. They're curious. And I'm asking you, as a professional, you're in charge of a country. Your primary objective is to keep your oligarchy happy, to keep the wealth inside of your nation, and to make them obey you when it comes to sanctions and such other things, and to ensure that the US dollar becomes and stays the predominant currency globally. There's a bunch of bloodthirsty brokies on the internet who barely pay taxes who want to go through a list. Who are you going to prioritize? Who do you care about? I'm not saying it's fair.
I believe that he's compromised. Our president is compromised, in my opinion. Everybody in his administration is compromised. I believe the elites hold power in government right now. And this is the problem. And this is why the American people need to rise and protest peacefully. Okay, so I've been gone for a couple days now, and I've been trying to keep up with the news while I was gone. And now that I'm back, there's so many things that have been going on in the country and the world. And I think one of the most important things that I want to talk about first is everything that's going on with the Epstein files, the list, and what the Trump administration is doing and not doing. They made a bunch of promises during the campaign. Donald Trump himself has made promises to the American people to help vote for him. And now that they're in the administration, they're starting to push back on releasing the Epstein files. And a lot of different people on the internet, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of journalists, reporters are having so many questions on why they are not being released. All of a sudden, there's no Epstein list. Even though they sent something out to the American people that had a list of names to include Donald Trump's name on it, in which he has admitted that he did not go to the island. But this is getting pretty sick, and we the people need to do something about it. So I have a message to all Americans in this country that want to push back against our government peacefully. I'll explain that towards the end of this video, but let's catch up on what's been going on with this situation from how it started to where we're at now. And I'll try to make a quick video of this, that way we can all get an understanding of why my message to the American people is very important in this day and age, in this moment in time, right now. We need to act and do something. So let's watch some of these clips and get caught up on what's been going on with this specific situation.
How serious are these charges against Epstein, David?
Oh, huge. I mean, he's exposed to life on these sex trafficking cases. Now, let's just talk how this came about, because back about a decade ago, he resolved his cases in Florida on state crimes, and he signed a non-prosecution agreement with the feds. Now, just this year, that non-prosecution agreement was found to be violating federal law, which opens the door to these new charges. And because sex trafficking doesn't have a statute of limitations, New York has now brought these charges against him, and he's exposed to life in prison.
Some breaking news right now. Disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein has taken his own life while he was behind bars here in New York City. Epstein was facing sex trafficking charges. NBC News investigative correspondent Tom Winter now has the very latest. Tom, what more do we know?
Peter, what we know now is that at 6:39 this morning, the fire department and EMS here in New York City got a phone call from MCC, which is a federal detention facility here in Manhattan in New York City, where Jeffrey Epstein was being held awaiting trial. They took him to New York's downtown hospital. He was in cardiac arrest, and he was pronounced there. What we know from officials that have been briefed on what happened, he was found and appeared that he had hung himself in his cell or wherever he was being held within MCC, and he was found by prison officials this morning, and that's when they reached out and they called EMS in unsuccessful attempts to revive him. So that happened early this morning, and right now what we're trying to do is figure out if he was still on suicide watch, because there was an incident that occurred several weeks ago where he injured himself. It wasn't quite clear if that was an attempt on his life, an attempt to perhaps stage an attack. The details of that were never really kind of hashed out, if you will. So this morning there's some significant questions on how somebody who, it was such a high-profile defendant, somebody who had connections that went up to a current president, could be found dead, and how this could have happened.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein had an island where kids were being sent there, and him, along with many other elites, rich people, billionaires, celebrities, we actually do not know exactly who participated in sex trafficking and sexual abuse on children. And right before Jeffrey Epstein was due to go to court to start getting all this evidence together to present to him to basically put him in prison for life for this, all of a sudden he committed suicide, so the trial never even happened. No evidence was brought forth to the American people. So because of his apparent suicide, which today they're starting to believe that a lot of people are speculating and saying that he did not commit suicide. Now, this is the reason this is important is because I have a strong belief that our government is more than involved in this specific situation. It's not just the elites, it's people in political power that are, I believe, are part of this disgusting situation that I believe Jeffrey Epstein was basically one of the leaders of in conducting these disgusting activities on this island. I have not heard about anybody actually going to the island and actually investigating there. So when Trump was running for president again, he campaigned on one of the things, promising the American people to release the JFK files, the MLK files, and also the Epstein list. Everybody that he had, that he saw the vision for to be part of his cabinet, be part of his administration, everybody from Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, from Kash Patel, the FBI director. I mean, he had everybody start telling the American people, we are going to release the Epstein files. We're going to find out who is involved, and there are going to be consequences. We have to have accountability for everybody that participated in these sick acts and put them in prison for life. They ran on this on the campaign for months. Even Dan Bongino, who was very strict on this situation, he gave so much flack on our government in many interviews before Trump got elected and appointed him for his position. And now, today, recently, within the past week, all of a sudden, all of them are starting to pull back and push back and say, you know what? There's nothing there with these Epstein files. There's nothing there. And then they released a video finally, after saying for many months and years, saying that there was no video evidence. They said, he wasn't on suicide watch, or if he was, the officers that were supposed to be watching him fell asleep. There was no video. All of a sudden, within the past week, they released this video. Let's check it out. Okay, and this is, apparently this is the full video, but apparently this is the very huge issue and problem that we're having. All the American citizens are not trusting our government because of this specific part in this video. At 11:50, I wish this thing wasn't in the way. Okay, so this is the issue we are having right here. Look at the timestamp and the time. Pay attention to the time. It's 11:58 p.m. p.m., 50 something seconds. Bam, right there. 11:58, and then it quickly jumps to 12 midnight. 1 whole minute unaccounted for in this video. So all the American citizens that are concerned about this situation are now getting pissed off and want to know what happened within that 1 minute. Did somebody go in there and kill him within 1 minute? Is he still, there's conspiracies out there. People are saying that he got released. He's still alive, which I personally don't believe. I believe he is dead. I believe, and people are also speculating, well, everybody's been asking too, who else was in that jail block? What other people? We need the names of the other people that were around Jeffrey Epstein. Because what if they carried out the murder? If it wasn't a suicide. Jeffrey Epstein's brother came out in many interviews and has even said, no, there's no way he committed suicide. He does not believe it. He feels and believes that he got murdered by someone. There's so many things going on that people are believing that the elites and people in government, people with a lot of money, are trying to put this under the table. And it's going beyond the Trump administration, which is basically saying that Trump is not running this country. He's compromised. The whole administration is compromised. How is it that these people, Trump and his administration, campaigned and said, yes, we're going to do this. We promise we're going to do this. Yes, government people in political positions have lied to the American people many times. But Trump he hasn't been a regular politician. He's someone that came from the business world and came in and said he wanted to clean up shop because he cares for this country. He didn't do it for money, which almost everybody in political positions do. Usually they don't have money. They become president and suck up all the money they can from the American people and implement changes, whatever they want, and throw a couple things there for the American people during their 4 or 8 year terms. Trump was already rich before becoming president. He did not need to become president. He wanted to be president because he wanted a better future for the future of our generation. That being said, this 1 minute unaccounted for needs to be disclosed. Someone is hiding it, someone deleted it, we don't know who or why, but the truth needs to come out. And this is the major problem that we have in this country today. And the American people cannot ignore this. We can't ignore this anymore. Because when things happen, all of a sudden, the next day happens, something else happened. LA riots, the Texas flooding. I mean, we start getting so many things happening in the country and the world, we start to forget what happened in the past that weren't fully disclosed to the American people. Things that weren't solved. We have to go back and solve them. Corruption. The assassination attempts on Donald Trump. Still, we do not know exactly who they came from. You can't tell me that this kid was able to do something this drastic in almost killing the president of the United States and being way better and ahead of the Secret Service. There's no freaking way. Why Trump has not actually investigated his own assassination attempts is making me question so many more things about Donald Trump himself now. And a lot of YouTubers are starting to feel the same way. They're wanting the truth. You know, they said, they campaigned and even said on this, they even preached this. The truth, we're all about full transparency with the American public. But to push back now, something else is going on. And this is why I mentioned in one of my other videos when I was talking about Kash Patel becoming the FBI director, congratulations. I am glad he got the position. But do not go out there in the public eye and present your family and say, yes, I am now the FBI director, this is my wife, this is my kids, whatever, this is my mom, whatever. If we know we have corruption within our own government, don't you think our corruption is gonna look at that family and say, well, we already know who to go after and how to use people like Kash Patel. We have his family to, if we want to pull some strings with Kash Patel, we have something to hold against him. It's not good. I mean, Donald Trump is the only one. Everybody knows his family. But all these other people that were appointed in his administration, the family should not be involved within their being elected in their positions, or I should say appointed in their positions. Now, I think this was yesterday. A reporter asks about the Epstein files, and this is the response from President Trump.
Your memo and release yesterday on Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the staff?
Yeah, sure. If
Hey, Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Now, first I must say, condolences to all the people that passed away because of the flooding in Texas. And they're still recovering bodies from what I'm hearing. But this is not a bad question coming from the reporter in this situation. And Trump's reaction and answer to this is very, very worrisome. It should be worrisome to all American citizens. Donald Trump is on the list, and you're gonna sit here and say, oh, why are we still? Because it hasn't been solved, President Trump. We the people have not got the answers that you promised us, that we elected you for. There's people out there in this country that voted for Donald Trump because specifically of him wanting to release the Epstein files. Not wanting, he said he will. And look where we're at. We're months into his presidency, and now they're pushing back, and now he gives this type of answer and reaction to the question? No. That's not good transparency to the American people. The American people need to push back on this. And I'll explain how later at the end of the video. Let's hear what Pam Bondi has to say about this.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
That's bullshit. In my opinion, that's bullshit. I don't like that. It's 2025. You're telling me that they've never upgraded their security system since 1999? This is ridiculous. This was not too long ago when he was in jail and supposedly committed suicide. But there's way too many questions now that are popping up that are not being answered, and especially when you have an administration that made promises in this specific situation of a list of so many people. Look, listen, the American people are not wanting to see child molestation videos. That's not what we want to see. You can completely blur things out and still show that Epstein was conducting some nasty shit or expose celebrities, billionaires, elites. And this is the problem that's going on right now. A lot of journalists, a lot of top journalists are saying there's only two things that's the reason that the administration is not dropping this. There's reporters that believe that the administration may upset either the elites or the American people, and they're juggling, trying to figure out what to do. If the government were to expose all the elites and billionaires, this could really damage the markets in this country, which could literally mess up the entire system of government. And if you upset the American people and we tell them the truth, they could revolt against the government. Either way, it's not going to be a good outcome. Somebody will get hurt. But I believe that the American people need the truth. We're sick and tired of listening to people making promises throughout years. And, reading things in history, that's what they've always done. Made promises they couldn't keep or change things during their administration to benefit themselves and their future generations in their particular family, rather than the actual American families that are contributing and helping this country grow. So it's very upsetting, and it should piss everybody off to the point that we all should be using our First Amendment right, the right to protest. I believe everyone should be protesting peacefully straight to the White House, surround the entire campus of the White House, and chanting, "We need the truth. We need the truth." That's the message I want to give to all American citizens in this country. I encourage everybody to share just this message alone if they can, because we need the truth. We're tired of being lied to. We're tired of dealing with people that want to come in. We work so hard donating our money that people can barely afford nowadays, and we're putting money towards these people that we're electing into power to help make good changes that would help benefit our personal lives and our families' lives. So when it comes to situations like this, yes, we need to hear the truth. If Donald Trump happens to be an evil person that's has went to Epstein Island, has committed some nasty he needs to be thrown under the bus. Get rid of him. We need a new president. We need the truth. Cannot keep letting things slide and thinking, oh, you know what, he's a good guy, he's a good guy. The truth just needs to come out, and then we can make our final judgment. If he didn't do it and there's no proof, he didn't do it. Honestly, in my opinion, I don't believe Donald Trump did anything on Epstein Island. Only reason being is because the last administration, the Biden administration, would have exposed Donald Trump quickly, because they knew he was going to run for president again. They would be like, let's throw this under the bus and expose everything he has been doing. And because that never happened, I don't believe it to be, there's no evidence. There's no evidence of it. Until there's actual factual evidence presented, then we can make a solid judgment on Trump. But at this point, I believe that he's compromised. Our president is compromised, in my opinion. Everybody in his administration is compromised. I believe the elites hold power in government right now. And this is the problem. And this is why the American people need to rise and protest peacefully. I'm never inciting violence. I'm never pushing messages for hate or anything like that. I'm always encouraging people to stand up and use their voices for good, rightful causes in this country. So that's my idea and my message to the American people. I'm not telling you to storm the White House. I'm telling you to surround the White House with signs, using your voice. We need the truth. We need the truth, because that's what the American people need. That's what the American people want. And this is a way where we can move forward in this country and grow, because we are not growing as a country. We have allowed, the Democratic Party, we've allowed corruption, we've allowed elites, we've allowed celebrities to basically take the stage of how this country is going to run because of their money. And that's not the way this country was brought on. That's not why they formed this country, is to be corrupt.
This is from February.
Go for it. So this is the first one.
Maybe releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So that's and listen, we haven't even got the MLK files yet. They have a strong belief that Epstein was part of the CIA, and the CIA specifically is the corrupt police force in our country. A lot of them participated on this island, and this is why they can't be exposed. And hearing the administration say, well, there's a lot of people that, we don't want them to be exposed. I don't give a shit. If you committed crimes, you need to present who they are to the American people, and they need to be stripped of their political positions, their powers, their police powers, anything they do in this country, they should be in jail, in prison. If there's something that they did that seeks the death penalty, let's go for it, because this is damaging the American people, the innocent American hardworking people in the long run.
And the FBI handed over a couple hundred pages of documents. But, Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything. And a source had told me where the documents were being kept, Southern District of New York, shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m., thousands of pages of documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Cash is also, now that we have Cash here, it's a game changer, of course, and Cash is going to, Director Patel, is going to get us a detailed report. The FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims, and no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now.
Okay, so if they're not getting released, then what's the outcome? What's the solution? How are these people going to get, if it's not just Jeffrey Epstein and these other elites or people that contributed in doing these disgusting acts with children, how are they going to be exposed? They need to be exposed in some way and be put in a box underground.
This was from the footage that they filmed at the prison that Jeffrey Epstein was being held at. They claim, CBS 60 Minutes claims, this is the cell that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself in. But if you take a look at the CCTV footage that was released yesterday, you can tell the doors are different.
No, this is not even the same. Doors are different. The glass is different. The color is different. The wall is not flat. The other one is flat. Press play on this one, Rob.
And then you'll see right down here, Pat, where the timing is, 11:58. It counts all the way up to 11:59 and skips 11:59 to midnight. Keep a look at the left corner right there.
And that was another thing they were bringing up. What they presented to the American people was not even the same door that he was supposedly in, according to this video they just released. It's too many more question marks and not enough answers.
There's a guy, I'm pretty sure time you guys are going to know, George Orwell, was that his name?
Yes.
George Orwell, who said, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command, which basically means when the totalitarian regime wants full control, it doesn't just lie, it forces you to deny what you see and hear with your own senses, okay? This is one of the biggest, not only slaps in the face, I mean, I knew we were never gonna see anything. Like the guy suicided himself in jail. We were promised all this stuff. Everybody's lying. Okay, Cash Patel, and we talked about this earlier, Pat. I want to know, when they came in with all these promises, who is the main guy? Who is the top person? It's not Trump. I hate when people are like, oh, Trump was with girls. No, I don't want to hear none of that shit. Trump was never with little kids. The left would have jumped on his ass earlier. Who is the main blackmailed person that's holding this from coming out? Who is the top? Who's the main person, okay? Because we all know, you saw it from Yelena Haba, you saw him from Pam Bondi, he had cameras and they had terabytes of information. That's billions of dollars of evidence on all these people, Pat. And Alex Acosta, do you remember this guy, Robbie? He was a DOJ official. He gave Jeffrey Epstein the sweetheart deal in 2008. He was quoted by saying he was told to, and I quote, to back off of Epstein because he belonged to intelligence. And then mysteriously, he had 11 months of DOJ emails to him that in that time period that mysteriously disappeared. Then you have Maria Farmer, who worked for Epstein, who confirmed every pinhole, every area in there was recorded, and they know it. So somebody has that. And here's my thing, Pat. Stop gaslighting us. Stop bullshitting because we all know what the deal is, okay? We all know. And apparently, if you're a pedophile, your job should be to get as powerful and as rich and get into politics because rich pedophiles, you walk away and you dodge the raindrops. Nothing happens to you. You're untouchable. If you're poor, guess what? If you're a poor pedophile and you're broke, you wind up in a freaking kitchen with Chris Hansen and they go, oh, sit down, and then they show you your text. It's disgusting. I think Pam Bondi and all these people, they have lied to us. She should actually resign, Pat. If that at that level, if you're bullshitting us and you're lying like that, resign. Dan Bongino, people are like, well, what do you want them to do? Is the whole system going to come down? Dan Bongino and all these people, if you're a real Christian, if you're a real person like that, Pat, I would come out and say the freaking truth and resign and leave and just tell the truth. The truth has to come out. And then notice how random it is. All this stuff's coming out. And then Virginia Giuffre, 2 months ago, she gets hit by a car, no police report, no nothing. And then she even says, she's like, I'm going to die in the next couple of days. And then she dies. And it's always this suicide stuff. It's just, I'm fed up with the BS. We all know what is going on, but we can't prove it. And now what's going to happen? The American people, in a week, we're going to forget about this. In 1 week, you're going to forget about them lying their asses off to us, and it's ridiculous.
This is why I said earlier, we can't forget about this situation. If anything we do in the future with this country literally has no point. There's no point. There's no point on voting in the future. There's no point on doing anything. If we have corruption in this country, we need to eliminate that completely. Everybody in political power, I mean, we need to start, if we have to start from scratch, or if this means that if we force our government to speak the truth and our system of government fails because of this, and we have to start over this country and this system that we have, so be it. So be it. The American people, we don't want this. We don't need this. We're supposed to stand for goodness, for the truth, for righteousness, the pursuit of happiness, all these positive good things that there's bad things in the Constitution that they, amended in the past, but a lot of it was meant for good. It's something that's supposed to be everlasting. But we can't do it when there's corruption in the government. There's no way. Anything that happens moving forward from here, there's no point. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Till next time, peace out, everybody.